In 2007, 3 centuries after the Act of Union that formed it, Britain is in an age of transition. The royal crest has given way to the crossed boxes of democracy. There is no empire and there is no dominion. However, one thing remains. It bound the empire more tightly than any garter or sash of court. Where the British themselves have long gone and British authority has dissipated, the English language has thrived. It's a story about shifts in power. With the discovery of new lands and the drive to colonize, language came to play an important and global role. From domestic administrative needs, the imperial powers of Europe had learned the importance of a standardized language. The growth of British power, the demands of running an empire, its adoption in the United States and transportation to Australia meant that the English language spread to the far reaches of the globe. The twin forces of the British Empire and American growth meant that English was the language both of old and new power. When asked what was likely to be the greatest influence on the course of world politics, Otto von Bismarck remarked that it would be the fact that the North Americans speak English. It had also become the language of scholarship and political innovation. More than that, it had become the language most closely associated with success. With the rise of a more global economy in the 20th century, English changed from being a language of imperium to being a language of business and commerce. In the world of business, Forbes' 2004 list of the top 2,000 companies, 54% have their headquarters in countries where English is the first language, and that is discounting countries like Finland, the Netherlands and others in which English competency is very high indeed. 9 out of the top 10 are based in either the UK or the US. A report to the French government estimates the UK gains at least €10 billion per annum from the dominance of the English language. More people speak English in Southeast Asia than in Britain and North America combined. As the world looks east for the next great economic wave, the UK's status in relation to the English language can only put it in good stead. But as English has become a basic skill around the world, the natural advantage of the native speaker has been whittled away. When Indian companies can train native English speakers in Belfast as call centre operatives, English no longer privileges the native speaker in quite such clear terms. Of all our European counterparts, we have the highest number of citizens who speak no language except their mother tongue. Foreign language learning for post-14-year-olds has recently been made voluntary. When international cooperation is sought but there is no common language, there is diminishing reason to assume that English will be chosen as a common platform for communication. When it comes to language choice, economics can be a stronger force than the appeal of what has hitherto been the world's lingua franca. For example, China has become Sudan's largest inward investor. In search of a solution to the language barrier, it was decided that Mandarin rather than English should be used. With the money, success and interest coming from China, why should the Sudanese and others learn English? People's relationships with capitalism, modernity, democracy, aid and education, argues Sue Wright, are mostly mediated through English. At the same time, these concepts themselves are being renegotiated. Capitalism is giving way to globalization, modernity to postmodernity, and our concepts of democracy, aid and education are being restructured accordingly. As we go through these changes, English will be a vital link and a common asset, but the advantages that we accrue as native speakers cannot be taken for granted.